Are we recording? Oh, we are. I see there's little sound waves jumping. Dream Warriors. 31 Days of Dread, day 30. Uh, we're we're getting there, people. I'm loving it. Big movie, huge movie to talk about. First time I saw it, so we're gonna hit that music. Yeah, so down the stretch here, it definitely slowed down. Felt like if I it was easily for me to be able to post 6 episodes in one day. And the funny thing is, it's like I'll sit down and I'll do huge recordings, like a really big session. So sometimes people are here, so sometimes they're sleeping. Like I really don't care. Like, and I'll go back and I'll listen to the episodes and just kind of have a conniption fit because I just don't think the myself as a commentator, I would even say performer, is up to par. Even like on my standards, and my standards for this are it's funny. It's strictly talking. Yeah, a lot of times I go back and I listen to myself and I just don't feel like there's a flow to it. So those episodes, they just go away. So part of the 31 Days of Dread was the pressure and the exercise of doing something like this on a regular, like just regular clip, to the point of working out some of those demons I have in sitting down and discussing anything. And like a part of it too was I just wanted to have almost like a crash course in horror, and horror is such a vast genre. It's like layers within layers within layers. Like the movements, the themes, the conventions that horror creates. Like for that being one thread, and then what happens in the industry as a whole because of like those themes. So, like for example, we'll always we'll go back to Hills Have Eyes Part 2, 1985. That was day 29, where there's nothing unique about that movie. There's no reason to watch it. But if you're watching it within the context of movies that were inspired by Friday the 13th, and I say that more than Halloween, because Friday took the elements of Halloween and took out like the artistry and added pop and fun and entertainment. And from 1980 on, like that wave is like you have high and low and like reinterpreting, like they interpret that with different intent, okay, and this is a part of the real nuance of horror, because it's literally like a spiral, and you have the guys with the money coming in trying to cash in. Then you have the guys with nothing, and we've seen this time and time again, even modern day. Paranormal Activity, Sinister, Conjuring, Saw, Hostel. People with nothing come in, and they're able to do things within horror. They're able to make a name of themselves as filmmakers, as visionaries, as people with Willy Wonka, pure imagination. And horror welcomes this. Horror welcomes pure commentary on the culture at hand, because it's all allegorical and metaphorical. So, like we're talking about Dracula today, 1933, and why is this a big thing? Number one, bucket list movie for me. I have yet to see all of the Universal horror movies. Am like huge, probably the biggest sticking point to my filmography, like repertoire. Okay, repertoire. Am I even saying that right? But yeah, it's the Universal. I mean, like go like the Magnificent Ambersons, Touch of Evil, Citizen Kane. I loved Gone with the Wind. Like oddballs, like Rollerball. It goes on and on. Like the the discovery of film is a part of one's film education. Now, being able to identify what's happening within the film, the surrounding cultural environment, and then the filmmaking process. Like that adds to your analysis. It's almost like post analysis because like none of those things should change how well the movie is, how well you receive it, so on and so forth. But you know, the Universal horror. I would say like Universal and Hammer. Yeah, total dark spots. I mean, I think at this point, just sitting down and talking to you, I think if there was just one giant box set for me to buy for Universal, I wish Amazon did digital bundles where you got like a little bit of a discount similar to what they have for the 6 Star Wars movies. Because I think you can get all 6 for like $90, and sometimes it's even on sale as low as 75, and like that's a heck of a deal because they're normally $20 a piece, so you get almost 3 movies for free with that price. But and some type of Hammer bundle that I would just jump in and get them all to watch them as like a whole as a heart. I mentioned before that I'm now subscribed to Shudder on Amazon Prime, and yeah, for $5 a month, it's wonderful because I at least get Frankenstein, Dracula, The Invisible Man, The Wolfman, Bride of Frankenstein, and that might be it. So that's a little bit of a that's a good crash course in Universal horror. But yeah, so I sat down and was like so excited to finally catch this movie. And really, I have the 31 Days of Dread. I have all of you, and thanks so much for every like a lot of you have been because I see the data, I see the analytics. A lot of you are legitimately watching the post or listening. What am I doing here? Listening to me, like ramble to you as things are being posted. That's very flattering. Even the SoundCloud analytics, which are, like a little bit lower nominal, but at the same time, it's just even seeing SoundCloud activity kind of immediately get a couple things. Yeah, I mean, it's very satisfying, it encourages me to go further on this journey, which is, to really build this into a cultural stamp, to really build Dream Warriors into something that people, care about. They care about the opinions, they care about the point of view and the insight and even the data. Because we go into what the actual numbers are sometimes, and the numbers reveal more. Like this is why even John is so important because John is probably one of the best numbers guys, and he definitely has an insight into what could be happening, and he also has the power to generate correlations of our own. So again, like him and I have like a lot of like text threads and things like that to like what we could do with data, what we could do with the movie data, like so on and so forth. But yeah, so Dracula in 1933. It's a movie made in 1933. Uh, the credited filmmaker is Todd Browning. The uncredited filmmaker is Carl Lammel Jr. So Todd Browning his filmography is insane. It's like he's done like 50 movies. He directed from 1939 all the way to I'm sorry, we're going backwards here. 1915 to 1939. Okay, which isn't like a huge stretch by any means. But this is where sometimes you would have 4 to 5 movies come out in a single year. So he made a career for himself. Just being a studio director in the giant system, and during a time too where Hollywood just made movies. They weren't making franchises. it's kind of funny how Hollywood transitioned from being sequel happy to franchise happy. Well, it's I'm sorry, from sequel happy to trilogy happy to franchise happy, and now it's shared universe happy. I don't know what's next, to be quite honest. So that's a episode of itself, right? That's a Dream Warriors analysis. Take a shot every time I say Dream Warriors this episode. I think it's mostly because I'm getting very reflective approaching the final day of the 31 days of Dread. And it's just filling me with a little bit of joy because there was a point where I did want to give up just because the show was behind and it was just one of those things. But yeah, so yeah, sitting that it's kind of funny because like, and I don't even have all of my data up, and I really don't care this time because I kind of just want to like enjoy the little bit of the conversation and the process and the discovery. And this is almost like a good thing for me to listen back to. So, 1992, we have Francis Ford Coppola. He comes out with his version of Dracula. "Love Never Dies" was the tagline. Budgeted for 40 million, box office roughly 215, and yeah, culture like the 92 Dracula. I think I might have been in seventh grade by that point. Yeah, I really missed seeing that in theater. Like I remember, I didn't see that in the theater, and I didn't see Nightmare Before Christmas, and those are two that really stuck out to me. And I don't know why I felt so bad not being able to see those movies, and we had like an art project, and it was to take a black and white photograph from the newspaper and to add blacks and add whites on top of it. Okay, to just really just make a like a strict black and white image with no gray shading. And I chose the Dracula movie poster from because back in the day I used to love going to the newspaper and going into the movie section of what was showing because that's how you got your movies at one time. This is before Fandango. You would go to the newspaper, look up your local theater, and they would be listed, and and the movie times would be listed in the local paper, and they had posters and things like that. So I cut one out, and it was like a decent size. It was maybe like 5 inches by 6 or 7. It was like a 5 by 7, and I worked endlessly on that because of the details. The the poster itself there's almost like this relief that runs around the poster that is looked to be carved in stone, and it has images throughout the entire movie. And then we have like the Dracula logo and then we have Dracula and Winona Ryder. Yeah, and so I worked tirelessly. I remember the project eclipsed, and I was still working on it. And even to this day, I've said to myself, if I find it, or when I find it, because I never really did throw it out, I would definitely like frame that and put it up because it's just one of those earlier art projects of mine I really remember committing myself to. Yeah, sorry, I'm drinking day old Starbucks latte. Yeah, I went there yesterday to get this like maple pecan, and they were done. They were done with that for the season, and it kind of broke my heart. So I said like, well, like what else do we got? And the guy said, well, he runs off He said we still have pumpkin spice, and I'm like, I don't want the pumpkin spice. And then he runs off like a vanilla Burrell, and I said I'll take that. And boy, it's good. So what I normally do is I get ventis. I don't drink them all. Like I'll drink them on the way home because it's about like a 10-15 minute walk, and then when I get home I'll just throw it into the fridge, and it gets super nice and cold. And that's where I'm at right now, just enjoying it. So yeah, the 30. Oh, well, is it 1931? I was saying 1933. Okay. The 1931 Dracula, starring Bela Lugosi, is just legendary. There's nothing I can add to this movie that isn't already there. Okay, and that's a very important point. Okay, there's no insight, there's no analysis for me to bring to the table, other than just documenting what it was like watching it for the first time, knowing, like the history of the character, because Dracula. I think Dracula is maybe the most important IP intellectual property, more so than Superman, more so than even Mickey Mouse, and that's because he's still around today. I mean, when you even watch the Tom Cruise Mummy, Dracula is referenced in that movie. He's hinted on, he's leaned on. His presence is there. Doing something with Dracula at the post-credit sequence would have been the better move for the Tom Cruise Mummy for the Dark Universe. Them going to the Mummy to Bride of Frankenstein doesn't excite anybody. They really should have pushed Tom Cruise, because I thought the angle that they put on Tom Cruise, like the angle that Tom Cruise had, was cool. I thought it was significant. Pairing Tom Cruise and the idea of these other actors, and then having like someone prominent come in as Dracula, and have Dracula be front and center of this Dark Universe cabal, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, you can't do that with Mickey Mouse. Look, we right now have a Justice League movie coming out in 2 weeks, and there is no Superman. I mean, everyone knows he's going to be in the movie. Everyone knows they're going to be doing the black costume, but there's no presence for him, and there's really no need. My father kind of nailed it. He goes, "I don't care about that movie. There's no Superman. Is the Justice League. He's not in the movie." 100% agree with my father. It's equally saying there's no X-Men without Wolverine. I'm sorry. As much as people want different things, it kind of doesn't work. There's a character that doesn't bring the fire, that doesn't bring the drama. Wolverine is that. Superman is also that. But yeah, so Dracula. I mean, the book, the right, like we have to kind of talk about the book. The book. When did the original novel come out? That's interesting, right? I mean, where are we with that? Let's see here. Can we find it? Can we find it in a. Let's see. We'll just look it up, right? We'll just do. There you go. It's just taking me a while. 1897. How that is unbelievable. Since 1897, Dracula has been in the cultural forefront. So, it's 1897, 1931. So that's a chunk of years. Hollywood knew by this point. You might be even able to say that Hollywood identifying Dracula as a potential crossover IP, we'll say, for the time was one of the biggest moves in Hollywood history. But yeah, so it's a shorter movie. It's 1 hour, 14 minutes. And the reason why I brought up Francis Ford Coppola's 1992 Dracula is because it was so difficult for me to watch this without like knowing Ford Coppola's, because so much of it's so similar, it's so close. Some of them, there's the same lines of dialogue, there's the same imagery, the same exact scenes. The movie actually flows the exact same way, because when I was done this, I watched Bram Stoker's Dracula and really just enjoyed both of these movies. I think it magnified the Bram Stoker's Dracula too, to how significant of a movie that is. And I kind of want to do my own separate thing on Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. I think I was going to do 31 Days of Dread, day 30.5 for Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, but no. Only Spawn gets a point 0.5. But yeah, and so this movie was the 31 Dracula was funnier, better acted, felt more present than I thought it was going to. If it really just felt like it was a movie made today that didn't have the technical power, meaning camera movement, sound editing, sound design, and I would even say like punch and dialogue because I view that as a technology that's very cultural. It's hard to skim around that. That's why I give a lot of flack to earlier independent movies or any independent movie outside of your era, because the dialogue beats of the time is it's a stamp on the speech patterns, the slang, how people spoke for the day. So, and it's hard to knock that. It really is. If it's not clicking in you or to you, it's you. It's not the material. But yeah, just the way how this movie was shot, it definitely has moments of dread. The mysticism of Dracula, and what Francis Ford Coppola completely expanded on. And I was happy to watch these back to back because it really made me understand, like, see the Dracula character in a different light. And the he's deadly. He's 400 years old. There's a mysticism about him. There's a rite of ritual about Dracula that it never occurred to me. I never saw before. But boy, is that a part of that character that no one really goes on anymore. Everything is about the blood and the immortality and him, like getting people to do things to make them immortal. His motivation is almost like happiness and love, and but it's through the powers of darkness, and it's such an interesting dynamic hodgepodge, and it's really like hard to dissect and even wrap your head around. Look, I had to sit down and talk about something right now, and yeah, maybe I should have watched this movie again, or really wrote up like somewhat of a analysis and got some good bullet points for everyone, but because he is that deep in this. But no, I mean, like, this movie completely lived up to the hype. I'm definitely watching the rest of the Universal movies available on Shudder. I can't wait to do it. I recommend you do it. But yeah, I mean, chalk it up for another bucket list movie for the 31 Days of Dread. 1931, not 1933. Hey, we make mistakes and we learn. That's a part of life. We get setbacks and we move forward, and that's a part of life. Everyone says that they want setbacks because they understand that setbacks really form you and move you forward and create something of you. But no one really wants setbacks. Everybody just wants to sit down and be comfortable. And not me. I want the chaos. I want the pain. I want the stress. Just give it to me. But look, if you want to talk to me more about this, hit me up. Google Voice is on AKAPAD.com. Direct message me. You can talk to me on the Twitter at AKAPAD. AKAPAD13 for Instagram. AKAPAD for Snapchat. For professional purposes, AKAPADsite.com. Yeah, these are all the ways. And I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm also on Google Plus. Because I'm heavy into Gmail and Android. But look, yeah, everyone, go see this movie. Check it out. If you've seen it, if you got like anything expert wise, if you just want to like call in, I would definitely take a call in from an expert on this movie. I'll figure out like how to do it. It can't be that complicated because I'm pretty sure I got the equipment right here. I'm looking at it for call-ins. But no, Dream Warriors, 31 Days of Dread, day 30. We're right at the end. Everyone, just have a good day. Have a good existence. Happy Halloween. We're marching forward.